E aí, galera, Night Wolf aí, mais uma vez com vocês, voltamos aqui com Pillars of Eternity 2 e vamos aqui para o final. Já dei uma revisada aqui em todo mundo, né? Padrão, não tem mais nada que a gente possa fazer. Eu acho que a única coisa que a gente pode fazer... Pera aí. Lendário já, né? Tudo lendário já, galera. Ó. Lendário. Lendário. Ó, tudo lendário. Que já foi, mano. Ah, esse aqui? Então... O olho de Well. Opa. É, nem adianta ali porque ele não usa pra combater, cara. Então... Ah, o dele. Boa. Essa aqui já tá no máximo, lendário também. Então é isso aí. Só troca esse escudo aqui que a gente não conseguiu upar, mano. Ele não é tão bom. Núcleo de bronze faz o que mesmo? Mais 15 contra ácido. E esse aqui... Eletricidade? Ah, eu não tenho. Esse aqui eu tenho. Evocação. Eu prefiro contra... Punição, condenação. Esse aqui é bom. Pronto, tá aí. Eu acho que era somente isso aqui. Agora a gente pode ir, né? Constantin. Pode começar assim já, ó. Alot. Não vai dar tempo, né? Não, não dá tempo não. Não lembro se é tão forte. Eu acho que é. Eu acho que é.
Something I can do?
Bem louco, hein? Não é?
Happy to oblige.
Rather difficult to concentrate.
Cancelou. Vagabundo.
Something I can do?
Não, eu acho que ele vai soltar ainda.
Hey, that wasn't that
69. Soltou ainda. Tá.
That dog won't hunt.
How about this?
Happy to oblige.
Imunidade. Ele é fraco contra... Não, fogo entra. Aí.
That's it. How may I help?
É forte, hein, molecada. Caramba, mano. Ai, não! Ele saiu do lugar. Não acredito. Eu não creio, eu não creio. Aí, mano. Aí lascou, ó. Eu acho que essa é a melhor magia pra gente tentar. Constantin. Isso, ataca ela. Isso aí. Boa. Porradão, né? Ó, que da hora. Tá maluco, mano.
What do you need?
Não sugou nada. Esses aqui são fortes, viu? Esses aqui são fortes mesmo. Meu amigo. Essa magia vai matar. Agora foca aí. Aí agora, pera aí, muita calma. Caiu.
Need something?
Curses. Yes?
Zori curou. Boa.
Something I can do?
Mano, eles são muito fortes, hein? Caramba, pessoal.
I'm no help here.
24. Tenta... Essa aqui. É o que tem pra hoje. Pô, sugou muito bem. Tá maluco, então?
What can I do? Yeah.
80, sugou bem.
I'm having some trouble moving through this.
Já era. Olha. Forte, né?
What can I do? I'd be glad to. Of course.
Essa magia sempre é boa, né, mano? Sempre. Pega essa aqui que é a melhor. Todo mundo. Você acorda no meio da noite e encontra Zori lhe observando com a foice em mãos. Ela sorri lentamente. O brilho da lanterna dela deixa metade do rosto dela na sombra.
Watcher, my eyes see a monster in you.
Que?
A real nightmare. You put the fear of gone in me when I thought I was already well afraid. Tell me, how can the whole world go dark and it not be a nightmare? What you did to me, will it be enough? Can Aora find its redemption? Or are we all just dead and don't know it yet? Only light around is my lantern.
Legal. Calma, gata. Ah, aqui tem um mapa, né? Pode crer. O Kaizo. Olha que muito louco. Grande pátio, pináculo de Ondra. Eu acho que o final... é aqui. Bem.
I suppose we're heading straight into that.
Pare a tempestade. Aqui a gente... Ué, a gente não desce ali? Eu lembro. Bem. Como que é? Uma tempestade furiosa obscurece a cidade abaixo, mas você consegue distinguir o formato de diferentes pináculos saindo das ruínas alagadas. Espíritos rodeiam sua alma com insistência, como um mastro da polpa tentando puxar um manto das suas costas. Você se lembra do seu último encontro com Biavik. Parece que foi há muito tempo. Não. Vambora. Pra cá? Eu achei que esse final aqui, galera, do jogo é muito fraco. Eu acho que tinha que ter uma exploração muito grande aqui, tipo, vários quebra-cabeça, né, combate épico, e não tem, mano, não tem. Eu achei o final desse jogo aqui muito, muito fraco, cara, muito fraco mesmo. Sem maldade. Apesar do dispositivo acima da torre girar de forma selvagem, em revoluções embaraçadas, o ar ao redor dele ainda é calmo. Você se encontra no olho da tempestade que isolou a tormenta de Ondra do resto de Aora durante milhares de anos. Você vê um painel de controle antigo, as alavancas dele se mantêm em posições de ativação. Uma percussão profunda sacode as torres pelas raízes. Em algum lugar na obscuridade da tempestade, Eotas toma distância para atingir o primeiro punho em um golpe devastador. O painel do controle resistiu aos milênios melhor do que o resto da cidade. Uma camada de poeira cobre os tubos de vidro elegantes e as alavancas de cobre gravadas. que parecem ambas intactas e totalmente funcionais. Muito louco.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
Finalmente estou quase livre disso tudo. O que virá depois disso tudo? Eu estou amedrontada, Beira. Vamos fazer isso rápido, eu tenho um compromisso como estátua viva e eu não quero me atrasar, não diga nada.
That will depend on the will of Kith, whose desires are ever in flux. Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia. With us,
if Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer.
A gente vai ter que ajudar a fazer uma escolha. Isso aqui é bem legal no final.
Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
É obrigação de Eotas nos ajudar a consertar o que ele está prestes a destruir. Eotas deveria deixar essa decisão solene para os Kings. Já passaram muito do ponto de ajuda, precisamos ser liderados. Esse aqui.
Coddled children learn nothing that is not spoon-fed to them. With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
É evidente o quão mal adaptados somos para nos liderar. Talvez você esteja certa. Vodka não quer que eles resolvam isso, ela quer ser a rainha de todos vocês. Como podemos confiar que você irá nos guiar depois disso? Não, temos que descobrir em nosso próprio tempo, com nossos próprios passos.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Eothas' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Eothas' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Eothas não faria isso se ele não concordasse com você. Talvez não fomos condenados no fim das contas. Obrigado, o vodka estava derramando pessimismo em meu ouvido como veneno. Um de vocês tentou me convencer de que os mortais estão destinados ao fracasso, mas eu não acredito nisso. Me poupe... Esse aqui.
And yet you come to Ukaizo with only the Valians at your back. All that Kith stand to lose, and even then your leaders could not join hands. Squabbling instead
verdade,
over
né?
prestige and resources.
Perfeito.
You believe that will change when my final death comes calling? You are a greater fool than I thought. Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Night returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Uma mudança de verdade, uma mudança duradoura, demanda sacrifício. Os dias que estão por vir serão difíceis, mas nós faremos o possível. As coisas estão bem como estão. Se não conseguimos impedir Eothas de destruir o leme, devemos apenas reconstruir como era. Eu não ligo. Os deuses fizeram o que podiam. Nós assumiremos daqui. Esse aqui, uma mudança de verdade. Esse aqui.
Take care that you do not sacrifice all, Watcher. Only what you must. The things you stand to lose, lives, institutions, beliefs, you may lose for good.
Realmente.
Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and you have discharged it well. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy his memories. You freed him from his past. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Eothas now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
The gods depart one by one in brooding silence. A solitary figure remains perfectly still until the last of her colleagues is out of earshot. Wodica peers down at you, a triumphant grin splitting her weathered features.
Bareth is a fool if she thinks I'll let her enjoy the last word. You were trusted with a heavy responsibility, Watcher. speaking for mortals and representing their interests in the future to come.
De fato, as minhas escolhas te ensinaram algo sobre nós?
You are ambitious to favor the Vailian republics. They shape their economy with reckless, if masterful, skill. But I fear that infighting and corruption will choke off their vision of progress in the end. Director Castall retains his authority. But how long before he must defend his position again? If he cannot control his people, he cannot control the Deadfire. Time and again, these merchants put short-sighted goals ahead of any long-term change. For that reason alone, I could never invest my hopes in their future. And yet, they have earned your confidence in a gamble that could decide the fate of all mortals.
O futuro necessitará de animancia, de ideias ousadas, de inovação. Eu confio na Palidna, ela é toda a garantia que eu preciso. Ninguém mais tem os recursos que eles têm. Ontem eles eram mercadores, mas amanhã serão líderes mundiais. E agora? Eu acho que esse aqui.
Not if I have any say in the matter. I assure you, my objections will be felt. Consider my curiosity appeased. For now, in our grandest plans, you are a singularly unpredictable variable. You play a dangerous game by investing your hope in others. Deception and failure are woven into the fabric of mortals.
No plano, né?
I can safely promise that they will disappoint you before long.
Eu acho que não há muito mais o que ser dito entre nós. Inspiradora como sempre, eu pretendo ver essa promessa ser quebrada. O que quer que aconteça, nós podemos enfrentar isso juntos, sem você se for preciso.
I look forward to watching the bright cheer fade from your eyes under cold, unforgiving reality. Whether you heeded my wisdom or not, everything you've done to get this far has informed our view of mortal kind. I hope you're satisfied with your performance. We've learned much from each other. Nothing could convince me that mortals are equipped to steward their future. Your efforts to prove me wrong were admirable, and my detractors will likely use your example to oppose my rule.
Para opor?
The Vailian Trading Company will no doubt devour itself from within, replacing one crisis with another. A difficult road lies ahead of me. Your alliances
É legal, né, que os deuses, eles vêm já muito além, mano. Eles já vê o futuro. Muito louco. É muita sabedoria, da hora.
Aethys will no doubt have a sunnier outlook on mortals and their chances of success. He already has everything he wants, so go and listen to his empty-headed idealism. The rest of us will be sharpening our blades, preparing for the future he lays out for us.
Sua consciência retorna como uma onda enquanto a energia remanescente da máquina se dissipa. O alcamar da tempestade revela a cidade estendida ao seu redor como a areia espanada de um mosaico. Você vê o contorno distante de Eotas erguendo o punho em triunfo e propósito.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Aethys has ended the world. It seems we're all still here.
Gods and darnation. My head.
Navio de guerra? Vixe! Companhia Real, ó, chegou. Olha lá, ó. Tá. Salvou.
What you people from lush, bright lands fail to grasp is that Rauatai isn't a storm-tossed spit of land. It's the Kith who stand together there. Okaizo belongs to us, We've earned it with blood and sweat, and no one shall take it from us now. Not while I'm around. Roataians!
Sabia? Então toma, seus otários. Aí, ó. Toma. Fecha aqui. Fecha o cerco. Opa.
What can I do you for?
Zori. Ah, não vai adiantar isso aqui, mano. É eles. Ai, ô louco! Ô louco! Roubado! Cancelou de 2, cara. Você tá de brincadeira, jogo, com a minha cara? Caralho!
Something I can do?
Seus vagabundo. Não, não vou passar agora. Deixa essa magia sair, né? Toma aí, ó. Ó. Magia roubada, né, galera? Olha isso. Olha, mano. É muito forte. Meu amigo. Então... Rebenta, rebenta. Ah, já tá morto, já tá morto. Consegue vir aqui, meu amigo? Dominado.
Hey. Hey, whose side are you on?
Uma aqui. Ah.
What can I do you for?
Boa. Já era. Sério? Então vai cagar. Boa. Ó, pegamos um item novo aqui, ó. Será que é bom? Não. Bem, agora eu acho que é aqui, né? Tranquilo, mano, tranquilo. Aí, ó. Ó o leme.
You descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the gods' great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine. As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms. An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries. The pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
If we don't fix this mess you're about to cause, the whole world is gonna look this bad. I mean, it's a mighty heavy load you're putting on our shoulders. I just hope we can carry it.
As long as there are people like you in this world, Adair, I truly do. This power has always been in the grasp of mortals. Now you will finally be aware of it. Now you will be able to decide what to do with it.
Ukaizo's corpse is beautiful, my god. This, its current state, is but one spoke in the ever-turning wheel of life and death, and so no less worthy than its incarnation at birth. But you seek to break that wheel. I beseech you, Gone, that when you do it right. Burn to ash every Audra root in hell so that it may never regrow. Let the darkness reign eternal.
It saddens me that the harvesting of souls in my name has brought you to this place, Shoti. But I am the cause, and I must take responsibility for it. I can only hope that after I am gone, you will see there is a brighter future for mortals. It is a future that you can help shape, even if you cannot see it now.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
Eu vim lhe pedir para ter piedade dos mortais nesse mundo que ainda sofrerão por suas ações. Depois de você ir, os deuses irão para a guerra uns contra os outros e com os mortais, a menos que eles tenham um líder forte. Os mortais irão precisar de uma dianteira nas coisas para prevenirem que os deuses restabeleçam o controle. Você precisa inspirá-los. Eu quero ir além de quebrar o leme, eu quero destruir tudo, não. Peraí. Eu vim lhe pedir para ter piedade dos mortais nesse mundo.
It is pity for mortals that drives me, Watcher. I have felt it in every step I have taken to cross the Deadfire and reach this place. What more would you have me do?
Pense nas almas que estarão presas no Entre Mundos por todo esse tempo. Elas serão atormentadas até que o leme seja consertado. Haverá centenas de milhares de almas presas no entremundos. Elas estarão gritando por mim, pela minha ajuda, até que o leme seja consertado. As almas presas no entremundos representarão um dilema para os animantes. Alguns podem tentar proteger essas almas ao invés de trabalhar em uma solução para o leme.
It is true. While the eventual restoration of the wheel will bring them relief, they will suffer until that time comes. Thank you for making me think of the lost souls, Watcher. I will provide a haven for them after my work here is finished. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
O que eu poderia saber que você não sabe?
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears, all the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable.
Realmente.
I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Os Vailianos têm recursos o suficiente para desfazer o dano que você causou, não? Nós precisamos de engenhosidade se quisermos sobreviver. Foi uma escolha lógica. Eu queria provar que Warwick estava errada. Ela acredita que a cooperação entre os mortais está destinada ao fracasso. Eu acho que esse aqui é o mais interessante. Eu não te devo explicação, não.
Boudica has been especially active since the downfall of her favorite operative. Have you ever considered that she is mentoring his replacement? My brothers and sisters never act when the gains are strictly short-term. If Boudica's shadow has fallen upon you, that can only mean she recognizes your potential to further her ambition. I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Antes que isso acabe, agora é minha vez de fazer perguntas. Obrigado pela lição, mas e agora?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
Logo que as palavras de Eotas entram na sua mente, você ouve um último badalar do sino dentro de você. E então o silêncio. O nó que se formou quando a Cavaleira Pálida encontrou você no além, agora se foi. Encontrou? Não é encontrou. Tá.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. animancers, priests, even the gods themselves.
Isso aqui deixa um gatilho para um terceiro jogo, viu? Essa parte aqui.
I have great hope for you, but always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
É muita sabedoria, mano. Tá maluco.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Audra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Audra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Audra statue has finally been pushed beyond it. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted. The machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Audra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys' arm shatter upward from his
Caramba,
hand
quebrou
through his
braço.
elbow.
Muito louco.
A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys' shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Aethys' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the Angwithan machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward.
Interessante que o corpo dele ficou paralisado, né? Só que ainda brilhando, mano. Legal.
As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Audra Colossus and the twilit afterlife within. Whether it is a temporary haven or a permanent end will depend on what the Kith of Eora are able to accomplish on their own. The greatest hope seems to lie in animancy, which the burgeoning Valian Trading Company explores with newfound purpose and vigor. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene. They watch and argue, wager and conjecture at how, or whether, mortals will solve the puzzle set before them. At Ukaizo, the Valian Trading Company discovers a cornucopia of Angwithan devices and artifacts, as well as vast reserves of luminous Audra. Under Director Castal's leadership, the company is poised to become not only the foremost authority on animancy, but also the dominant power in Deadfire. The Songreta Mea Compressa quickly approves the construction of an academy at Ukaizo.
Essa aqui, galera, se eu não me engano, é a líder da facção, tá? De comércio valiana, se eu não me engano.
With the Kahanga monarch reduced to a figurehead, the Huana tribes fragment further. Some profit by working with the Valiants, and others find themselves evicted from their old lands. But for many, life continues much as it had before. The Valians' business interests trump their enmity, and they allow most of the Royal Deadfire Company's ships and personnel to remain in the archipelago to trade. Rauatai's legendary cannons
É uma
pose
trégua,
no
né?
threat to them now.
Tá.
After all, the Valians could not want for better leverage
Sim.
than Andra's Spire. The storms across the Rauataian mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rauatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's Spire remains under their foes' control. The influx of Valian business into Deadfire creates an unprecedented opportunity for the Principes and Patrena. Though their dreams of conquest have been squashed, there are more than enough.
Se a gente tivesse escolhido os príncipes como facção principal para chegar aqui, isso aqui ia estar bem diferente.
That the Songreta is willing to write off more than a few losses with each transit. The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valiant settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other. By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back. The conflict eventually draws the attention of the Songreta Mea Compressa. They dispatch a mercenary company to subdue the remaining Huana and select a strict hardliner to replace Clario. Port Mage becomes a cautionary tale for Huana tribes that would consider violence against the Valian Trading Company. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform.
Eu não lembro qual que é, mas tem uma linhagem da história que você mata a rainha. Se eu não me engano, eu acho que é com a Companhia Real do Fogo Morto, tá? E aí aqui também muda totalmente.
The Valian Trading Company builds up the port in Queensbirth. The company's expanding presence, however, quickly outgrows the dockside district. Company facilities and personnel spread throughout Nekataka. The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the gullet starts to improve. What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu.
Olha que legal. Pra quem não lembra, os Raparu é a classe social ou linhagem mais baixa, né, de Neketaka.
Though the loss of Skiarilafis's essence weakens the Water Shapers Guild, Animancers with the Valian Trading Company offer a proposition.
Ó, uma proposta aqui, ó.
In exchange for knowledge of water shaping, they will develop a new source of essence for the guild.
Uma troca.
Some of the elders balk at sharing their secrets with foreigners, but the partnership that follows proves fruitful for the guild as well as the Animancers. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. He comes to recognize his nightmares and the scene at Hisongo as Aethys's final warning to his people. Unite in strength and faith, or perish forever. As word of Aethys's deeds at Ukaizo spreads, his fellow Dawnstars take this message to heart. The children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys's sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Aora and ferrying them to the haven
Legal,
within
né?
the Adra Colossus. Others will repair or rebuild the wheel one day. In the meantime, the Dawnstars will care for the souls of the dead. Ruanu, the chieftain of the Huana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village. the leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others...
O Arraki é um novo líder.
The dragon Neraskirlas
Olha!
no longer
O jogo fala até das expansões.
the white void, and the dead flow slowly breaks apart, exposing the temple long frozen within. Under Halfjorn's guidance, the Harbingers of Dusk resettle within Remergon's temple, vowing to forever protect it from the defiling touch of outsiders.
Isso aqui foi uma decisão que a gente escolheu, tá? Por isso que saiu dessa forma aqui, ó.
Attacking any who dare approach their holy site. In besting the Beast of Winter, you earned the Death God's mercy rather than his enmity. The deity remains characteristically unforthcoming about his decision, and you're left to wonder whether in doing battle with him in the White Void, you somehow furthered his apocalyptic ambitions. Utterly corrupted by the tooth of Toamawai, the Adra at the primal island of Kazuwari continues to remain separated from the greater beyond. As increasingly anguished spirits roam the island in search of essence, blights form with greater frequency.
Aqui, na verdade, nessa expansão aqui, a gente tinha que ter escolhido
Kazuwari slowly dies.
Liberar toda a essência pra ilha, e a gente pegou pra gente. Foi isso? Eu só liberei uma vez, eu acho.
Weakened by the events at the island, Galawain retreats further from the intrigues of the gods. Rumors spread of his displeasure, as those godlikes touched by the father of monsters begin dying mysteriously across the whole of Aora. The faces of the hunt continue to rule the Crucible in Galawain's, or rather, Toamawai's name. The trials summoned by the statue grow deadlier with each season, until only those rare few willing to brave the gravest of dangers seek out the bloody ordeals of Kazuwari. Like the other souls following in your wake, Muatu eventually yearns to move on to the beyond and the wheel. Stymied by Aethys's actions, however, he settles on returning to Kazuwari, where he joins the choir of souls that echo throughout the Crucible. A vast monstrosity of tentacles and flesh erupts from the black
expansão que a gente não fez. Tá aí, ó.
Before vanishing into the depths. None know what drives the titanic beast, nor where it will appear next, or what destruction it might wreak when it rises.
Caramba, hein, mano.
Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hisango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover,
o filho da mulher que ele teve caso, né?
Byrne regrets not having joined the army of Aethys. He accepts that he tried to go about it the wrong way. Likewise, he comes to idolize his new uncle, who has truly marched in the lighted path. Together they set about bolstering Aethys's following in Deadfire, and prepare for the greater conflict Adair believes is soon to come.
Aí, ó, gatilho de novo para o 3, hein? Sei não, galera. E talvez ele volte, hein? Já pensou? Meu personagem preferido aí do jogo, da franquia.
Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in their travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times, and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship. Plagued by constant nightmares and hallucinations, Shodi becomes increasingly disassociated from reality.
Oxi.
Meanwhile, her power continues to grow with every soul she harvests. You start to notice sliced up animal corpses everywhere you two travel. But when confronted about it, Shodi stomps her feet and fiercely denies any wrongdoing. Then, one night, Shodi wakes, but never leaves the nightmare. Shivering uncontrollably, she packs up her belongings and slips away into the darkness, murmuring
Ela
that
foi
she
embora.
must return to the Temple of Gon in order to fulfill her purpose to her god. But she never reaches the temple. None of the Dawn Stars know what's become of her, aside from disturbing rumors of a harvester ravaging the southeastern islands in the Deadfire, leaving a trail of blood in her wake. Though the two of you no longer travel together, Shodi holds fast to the memory of you in her heart, remaining your fierce and doting girlfriend, faithful even in her absence. You receive a missive for every day apart, though they often arrive in a single bundle some weeks or months past. In them, she writes of how she misses you, how you are like a fire that burns inside her, how one day surely you will be reunited again. Until then, she prays for your safety as she continues to labor in service to Gon. Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Letter.
Ainda, né?
With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Romaro
Se
go,
tiver
and the
terceiro,
former pirate
o
ostensibly
Alof
set
volta.
sail
Também,
for
é
the trade
certeza,
lanes
mano.
of the Eastern Reach.
Ele eu
The
já
Air
acho que não.
Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time
Tá.
together, Seraphon seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. After your encounter with Aethys, the pirate drifts into quiet contemplation.
Contemplativo?
As you sail into your next port, he meets you at the ship's rail. He'll be leaving the gods to you going
Tá, ele
forward,
também deixou a gente de lado, né?
and saving his
Seguiu
bullets
seu
for those
caminho.
like to die from them. Seraphon parts company with you not long after. Occasionally, in the years that pass, you hear tales of his ship, the Taste of Freedom,
Olha
and its
só,
violent
mano.
exploits against any and all who would purchase
Legal,
or purvey
legal.
Kith. For assisting the Watcher in securing Ukaizo for the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is honored in a ceremony at Biajepe, attended by all 5 of the Duke's bells. Duke Ramasi is so overjoyed by his good fortune that he offers Pallegina a boon. She immediately takes the Duke up on his offer by requesting that the ducal charter of the Fremas Mes Consualias be amended to allow the admission of women. Soberly, the Duke accepts, much to his chagrin. The following spring, the Brotherhood admits its first
Olha, eu nem
5
sabia que
girl
tinha
cadets.
essa restrição. Caramba, interessante.
Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the
Guarda
personal
pessoal?
guard of the Duchess Sparento. She excels in this role, and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. Their close relationship causes friction with the Duchess's
Fricção?
husband, the
Ah.
Kanta Maraba. His impotent annoyance becomes the subject of courtly gossip and the inspiration for a well-received farce, staged at the biggest theater in Otsia. Although she had made it through her second adventure with the Watcher, she searches far
Isso aqui
and
porque a
wide
gente não fez,
across the
tá?
Deadfire and beyond.
Deixamos
Never finds
passar. Tá.
Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rawatai conducted
Maya.
the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen. Though Maya's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. she receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. And Gati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after he departs Nekataka, distant tribes report of unusual and salacious water sculptures appearing on the shores. These quaint visitations are widely celebrated. The identity of the artist, ever an open question. Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond. And at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
Tá então, molecada, mais um final de Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. Pessoal, esse aqui foi o terceiro final que eu fiz, né? Só que eu segui um caminho diferente, pela companhia Vailiana, né? Um final que eu nunca tinha feito e curti muito. Bem, pessoal, mais uma série então concluída aí no canal, né? Mais um grande jogo, RPG. Eu zerei o primeiro e agora o segundo aqui. Série completa aí pra vocês, belezinha? Muito obrigado quem assistiu até aqui, quem acompanhou. Deixem aí nos comentários se eu fiz alguma decisão que vocês não curtiram, né? E o que acharam também desse final, belezinha? Deixem um gostei que ajuda muito. Até o próximo vídeo e próximo jogo. Valeu!